Alright, what's going on? Happy Saturday, May 20th, 2023. It is a beautiful day as usual. Alright. Howdy. Woo! Boy. Yeah, we got some stuff to talk about, I think. kind of made a mistake because originally I said that we weren't gonna, or I wasn't gonna stream today, but I was mistaken just because, you know, today there isn't much going on anyway, so, I thought I had more plans than I did. I thought I was busier than I was, but here we are, so, alright. And good thing, too, because there's certainly things for which I would like to discuss, before I go on vacation. Yeah. Whew. Anyway, I got my cup of joe as usual. That's my second cup, actually. But, we have definitely things to talk about. So we'll get into it. So, let's see. Alright, so I heard about this guy named iDubbbz, okay? I am somewhat familiar with his content. I understand that back in the day, the main thing that I knew or know about him was that back in the day he used to be like this edgelord or whatever, and it wasn't usually primed in a way where like it came off edgy, but it also could come off like you know, like he was sincere in the words that he was using. Some of the words were obviously vulgar and derogatory and controversial, at least by today's standards. Probably even back then as well. But regardless, yeah, I mean, I had a passing familiarity with his content back in the day, and he made an apology video. With I didn't watch it, but the general consensus based on what people are saying and based on what I've heard, is that was sincere. He was basically apologizing for any kind of like negative externalities that came about from his you know, his content or his rhetoric or what have you. Charlie, who is otherwise known as Moist Critical, had made a video talking about him. I'm not going to go over it too much, but we'll just look at it. So we'll just hear what he has to say, and he did make a follow-up video, like, saying that he was, like, sorry or something, which is good, I guess, or, like, clarifying his points or whatever, which is always good. But, I don't know, we'll just hear what he has to say. I'm not really deep into this fucking drama shit, if you can want to call it that, but yeah, we'll just talk about it for a minute.
Point is, he wasn't happy with the content he made or the person he was, and now he's trying to apologize for the videos he made. And I, once again, have to completely disagree with the way he looks at it. I feel like his perspective on it is very warped by the way the internet has evolved over the years. The way he talks about this content makes it sound like he used to fucking murder puppies for these videos, which it was never that extreme. I very much would consider it edgy. It was 2016 edginess in all of its glory. That was entirely the brand. And for its time, it lived peacefully. You know, all four nations, water, earth, fire, air, lived together in harmony with all of this edginess going on. Now, obviously, times have changed, and he has changed. He's gotten older. He's in his 30s now. In your 30s, it's not exactly entertaining to just be spamming slurs for shock.
Well, times have changed, sure, but at the same time, back in 2016, it was like that kind of stuff was still pretty fucked up. You know, it may have been more normalized, or rather, it was, yeah, I mean, like, it was probably more normalized back then, but that doesn't mean it wasn't fucked up, right?
Shock humor. I don't find that entertaining, and he doesn't either, so it's totally fine to want to distance yourself from making content like that. But I don't think it was a mistake that he made those videos. Like, they're not hurtful, nor do I really think they're damaging.
Yeah, this definitely is, I can see, I can understand, I think, how people would be upset with, Charlie's rhetoric here, definitely. Yeah. It seems like he's downplaying like the shit that iDubbbz like. I don't know. It seems like he's downplaying a little bit.
Now, you could make an argument that they were hurtful to the people they were about, like the content cop on Tana or Leafy or any of that. You could say, like, he hurt their feelings or sent harassment their way, which may have been a mental burden on them, and you could feel bad about that, I suppose. But at the end of the day, I don't think the goal of his content was ever to be hurtful or damaging. He was just trying to entertain and using edginess as shock humor, which for its time was acceptable online. Now, whether or not you think that's okay that it was ever acceptable, that's a different argument for a different day. But the point is, the point of his content wasn't to be hateful or hurtful. He really was just trying to entertain. At least that's how I and the majority of people viewed it. So I just don't think that the apology is really warranted. You can explain, like, I just don't like making that content anymore, so I won't. And be like, hey, I even regret.
I think either way it's fine. If he does apologize, then that's good. But like if he does not apologize, I don't think that's a big deal either, in my opinion. Yeah.
Regret making that content because it's kind of cringe now. That's all fine, but to think that it is this huge, massive problem, like you made an unforgivable mistake, is a little weird to me.
I don't know why I think that Charlie communicated okay here. I can understand, like, when I say I can understand why people are upset, I am speaking from an outsider perspective, or rather, I'm trying to put myself in other people's shoes. But, like, I don't really, like, maybe it's because I've been watching Charlie for, like, over 10 years now, but I just, like, don't, like, I understand, like, the words that he's using and the way he has expressed himself in this, even in this short clip, seems to me like he's elucidated pretty well his perspective, and it doesn't seem necessarily in my opinion that he was like doing anything bad, right? Or trying to, like, yeah, I don't know, say like it's bad that he came out and apologized. It seems as though he's more so saying like it was unnecessary. Wait, what? You've got to be kidding me. Oh yeah, and this is again what I told you. He made a follow-up video kind of like clarifying some points. Why is that bad? Wait, this person, I don't even know who this is. This person said like he absolutely did the right thing by denouncing and taking accountability for the damage he's done. So this person ostensibly is in favor of the idea of somebody coming out and like correcting the record or providing clarification or like taking accountability. Similarly, you can apply that as well to this video from Charlie, right? Charlie is taking accountability in the sense that he saw the reactions from people in his that like from his initial video, and is subsequently made a huge L take video where he clarifies his points and shit. So why is this person offering it, or rather, why is this person not offering the same level of charity to Charlie than they were for iDubbbz? Because this person come to, I don't even know who this is. I don't really care either. But like they said, like it's a good thing. Like they seem to be in favor of taking accountability. Like, or yeah, like people who take accountability for shit that they said, right? And then he comes out with a video kind of doing the same thing, right? Like saying like, you know, I didn't think about it this way, or like I should have worded it better and blah blah blah. I'm sorry. And now this person isn't going to offer that same level of charity? One more YouTuber off my list, brah. He's saying that what he said was misconstrued. They were your words. Well, some of the criticisms that were levied against Charlie, I would imagine, were definitely straw mans, because that's just the nature of how the internet works. The internet is notorious for... Yeah, dude, the internet is notorious for accurately representing people and not being hyperbolic. It was encouraging bigotry. Oh, they're speaking to iDubbbz. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. And he's doubling down to iDubbbz, saying he shouldn't feel weighted down by his old content. I mean, like... He didn't create internet. Wait, hold on. This person is implying that iDubbbz created that edgy internet culture. That's not true though. Edgy internet shit has been around for a very long time before iDubbbz. This person's man. This guy, or I don't even know who this person comes off annoying. Nobody ever said iDubbbz did that shit from a place of hatred or bigotry. We're saying he contributed to it within internet culture by. We're saying he contributed to it from it within internet culture by telling people it was okay or making jokes, which is what the apology is about. Muting because I want to move on, but fine. If what you got to this is you're still holding on to things you did years ago, you're purposely missing the point. Apology for my dose, mostly minority groups you heard. Minority groups not. Man, okay, I don't know. I don't think Charlie was acting with malintent here. I think that maybe he could have communicated a little better for like general like dumb fucks online to like understand, right? But other than that, I don't know. I don't think like anything here is really like like that bad, right? All right, whatever. Well, with that out of the way, that wasn't even like the main thing. Are you fucking? I literally hate Microsoft Edge. Um. Do we have a video? Oh, we do. This is exactly what I want. Oh yeah, I saw. This is so dumb. Hold on. I saw this too. Window catch. Apparently, Majority Green is going to file articles of impeachment against Biden. Nice. So, like any other Tuesday. Okay, so, I need to get to the main point here. There is a swimsuit cover model. Her name is Kim Petras. Never heard of her. But conservatives are mad about it, I think. Actually, I don't think I know. I know they're fuming. They're furious over this because she's trans. Apparently, I would have never known that if it weren't for the fact that transphobes are like trans investigating by looking like at every single pixel online to like examine how much like how broad of a shoulder yeah, I mean like they're go fucking crazy with it, you know. But I would have never would have even conceived of this person being trans. I guess that just means that they pass just with that well. I don't know. But yeah. Anyway, I don't know. They're very upset. I think over the fact that a trans person was represented. Hold on one second. All right. Anyway, I don't know, dude. Like, what is there to? So apparently there's this video from Megyn Kelly. We'll just watch it where they talk about. Oh yeah, apparently Martha Stewart was on the cover too of Sports Illustrated. Yeah. Um. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. I guess we'll find out what's going on. Why are they mad? Let's find out. If I were to guess, it's probably just because, literally just because a trans person was on a Sports Illustrated thing. Um. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Let's talk about Sports Illustrated because you are former beauty queens and you understand.
Why is that so loud? Hold on. I feel like it's. Hold on, let me just make sure.
The beauty business.
Okay.
Let's talk about Sports Illustrated because you are
All right, that should be good. Let's go.
former beauty queens and you understand the beauty business, what sells, what works, and what doesn't. And, you know, I was on, Paul Murray's a friend of mine. He hosts a show in Sky News Australia, and I go on with him once a week and we talk about culture issues and so on. And he was raising this issue with me because Sports Illustrated, yes, they've got Megan Fox, who's amazing, very beautiful, but they've also got Martha Stewart, as he described her, an elderly ex-con.
Wait, is that Megyn Kelly? Why does she look so different? You know what? Doesn't she look pretty different? I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously she's gotten older since I've last even noticed, but no, dude. And I'm hitting all the wrong buttons.
It's very, very kind of funny. I mean, yes, she looks great for 81. We should all be so lucky. But, you know, she's there.
She's 81.
And then there's a trans person there. There's a biological man who's there, who's some sort of a singer who was with Sam Smith and his weird devil worship show. Kim Petras, who was Tim Petras, but now looks like this. This is a dude. And
that is not a dude. There's literally nothing here that would indicate to me that this person is a dude. Like, genuinely, there's nothing. Like, not a single, pixel of this picture suggests to me that this is a dude. You have big tits, you have thick thighs, you have long hair, you have makeup, you have... I mean, there's literally... there's fucking nothing here, dude. Jesus Christ.
And I said to Paul Murray, you know, you tell me, Paul, but my understanding of the cover of the Sports Illustrated magazine is it has one main purpose, and that's for 15-year-old boys to spend some alone time with it in the bathroom.
Wait, what? Does she know that, the internet exists and there's porn sites?
I'm thinking this isn't the way to get that done. Thinking it's, once again...
What? Wait,
Again, not knowing the function of your...
So you're telling me a teenage boy wouldn't look at this and fap to it? Like, not a single individual, teenager would look at this and think they're... First off, wait, hold on. First off, they would be looking up porn online. That's the first thing. The second thing, even if that weren't the case, and they bought a Sports Illustrated magazine for the sole purpose of fapping to it, that you're telling me that not a single teenager would look at this and do that. Not a single teenage boy would do that. Interesting.
15-year-old boys to spend some alone time with it in the bathroom. I'm thinking this isn't the way to get that done.
Wait, and by the way, it's interesting that it's interesting that to them the main purpose of the Sports Illustrated magazine cover is literally to satiate the fetish of a teenage boy to masturbate to. Isn't that weird? That's kind of weird that you're talking about that.
Thinking it's
who's the real groomers?
Once again, not knowing the function of your product or who your audience is, and it is a situation.
I don't think Megyn Kelly knows who the audience is. First off, who buys magazines anymore? And second off, the people who do buy magazines, I feel are older people. They're in Gen Xers or something. They're not Zoomers or shit. You know what I mean?
Situation with the trans model or
Sorry about that. Hopefully it doesn't keep that.
whoever this person is, of
Wait, you know who they are. You said their name.
a man coming in and taking over a spot that previously would have been given to a woman.
Yeah, so this is this kind of feeds off of the talking points that I've seen like a million times at this point. It's the whole it's just like the same turf talking points over and over again. Men are dressing up as women or masquerading as women to infiltrate women's spaces, and they're trying to take advantage of women and in some cases less children to get close to them because they disarm them by the fact that they're presenting as feminine and like are women, blah 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 blah. It's the same talking points time and time again, that trans women are really just men who are infiltrating women's spaces to take away opportunities from women and denigrate them or make a mockery of them.
Once again.
Yeah. And you know what? Britt and I both competed at Miss USA. We were both Miss California. And I couldn't help when I saw this, but think about the thousands of women who would have killed to have been on that cover. I mean, to be on the cover of Sports Illustrated is like winning Miss America or Miss USA or, winning another prestigious title as a woman. And I couldn't help but think of those women who saw that and thought, wow, first of all, he's not.
Wait, is that really like still a thing? Like, I mean, I don't know. I'm not in the model industry. Maybe I should be. But, I don't know if the notoriety you gain from a Sports Illustrated magazine cover is as useful as it once was, right? Because like we have internet and people aren't really like reading magazines, I don't think, as much as they used to. I don't know. I mean, like it's obviously important in the sense like it's the cover of something, which is obviously going to be the first thing people see. But like I think there's way more opportunities and avenues for a model to make it in the industry outside of like being on the cover of a magazine, right? I don't know.
Not even in shape, number one.
Right.
What? Oh my god. Wait. Hold on. What did she say?
Woman. And I couldn't help but think of those women who saw that and thought, wow, first of all, he's not even in shape.
I don't even know what to say, dude. What are they talking about? They're literally just crying over here. They're just complaining.
Britt and I both competed at
Purpose, and that's for.
Is there anything about this woman that suggests to you that she is out of shape? Like literally anything? Is there anything here? Or are we just making shit up? I really think it's just a jealousy thing. There's like nothing, and that's such a weird thing to like fixate on too. Jesus Christ.
Or, winning another prestigious title as a woman. And I couldn't help but think of those women who saw that and thought, wow, first of all, he's not even in shape, number one.
Right.
Second of all, like.
There's like, and by the way, there's no argument there. It's literally just, he's not in shape, sweaty, and then it doesn't go on to elaborate in what way they aren't in shape.
I looked at it and I was just like, oh, but like you said, Megan.
Dude, oh my god, they're so fucking angry. Oh my god. It's just, they're just mad. There's no arguments. It's just whining. This guy's not in shape, first off. Second off, ew. Like, this is such fucking juvenile bullshit. Jesus Christ.
And like these young men who are looking at this, like, imagine how they feel. Like, maybe they think, oh, wow, I'm turned on by that. Like,
what's wrong? What's wrong with that? Oh, right, hold on. It's really weird that they keep coming back to this whole thing about, like, teenage boys being turned on by model. Like, do they, like... Could
you imagine as, like, a young man seeing that and being like...
And then you find out.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. This person looks identical to a woman. Like to a cisgender. Like there's no difference here. There's almost no difference. There's nothing here to suggest to me that this person is trans. There's like not a pixel here from all the pictures they have shown me thus far that suggests to me that this person was born as a man. There's nothing here. There's no confusion that could take place here. Because that's another talking point that transforms like to point out too, is like You're gonna confuse these young boys who are turned on, and like when they find out, oh my god, they're gonna be so confused about their own sexuality. Like it's just like this person, like it's so weird that first off, it's weird that like that I don't know understand how you cannot accept the premise that this person is a woman. Like there's like this person's obviously a woman. Like just look at her.
And then you find out.
Then
and
you
what?
find out. It's like the crying game, you know, where you're like, oh shit.
Wait, the crying? How old are these people? They're literally boomers, yeah.
No,
what
this
do
is
you
like
do about it?
it's a fraud. It's a bait and switch.
That's
And you're
exactly
right.
How is this a bait? What are they Oh, yeah, the whole gender like confusion thing, yeah. Like you're confusing their sexuality and shit like that. Yeah, I don't know. I think like if they get turned on by that, then like it obviously demonstrates that there are certain characteristics that a person can have that could solicit a, you know, like a sexual response, or for lack of a better term. Like it's not really about the fact that like they're a woman or a man. It's more about the fact that like they embody certain like characteristics, right? That's the thing that really like turned people on, I think. Not that they're intrinsically like a woman or a man. Maybe I don't know. I mean, that's the way I think though.
What it is, you just nailed it. That's the word that I kept trying to find in my head. It's a bait and switch, and I think that's the intention. It's to confuse young men. That's like
They say it's an intention while citing zero evidence that that's the case. They're like saying they're doing this on purpose. They're trying to trick our youngsters who would otherwise fap to a cisgender woman on that on that magazine. There's no evidence here, by the way. It's literally just it's just conjecture. It's just conjecture. They claiming it's a bait and switch on purpose from the magazine, the marketing company or whatever, to trick young men based on nothing. Based on nothing. They got nothing. There's no argument. It's just whining and conjecture at this point.
where we're at. Just confuse them. I saw him, Kim, Tim, and I was like, with all the Photoshop, he looked beautiful.
Wait, you know that Photoshop plays a major role in every model's like portfolio, right? Like, yeah, obviously.
But he looked like a beautiful woman on that cover.
So it's incredible, by the way, because like Kim passes so well that like even these people this person is rather conceding to a small extent that she looks like a beautiful woman, which she is, at least in my opinion. But they have to logically make the decision in their brain to think, oh no, this isn't a woman, this is a man, biological man, reality, blah blah blah. Like they have to jump through more hoops to make the claim that this person is a man than if they were a woman, right? Like if you like look at this picture, like if you look at this woman here, okay, the first thing you think of is, oh damn, she's hot. Like she is hot. You have to make the conscious decision, okay? You have to make the conscious decision in your head to like say no, this is a man. You have to like think it through. So that should tell you right there that like I mean that seems more confusing, right? Like they like to complain about gender confusion or something, but at the same time you have to go through more hoops logically to like prove to yourself that this person is a man when that's not the case.
With all the Photoshop, beautiful woman on that cover. And that is so dangerous because men who are going to see that and a lot who aren't going to know that it's a dude are going to, like you said, get bait and switched with it. And now they're attracted or did something in the bathroom to a man.
Well, who fucking cares? Why are you even talking about this shit? Why do you care what people are masturbating to in the fucking bathroom? You keep bringing it up.
Now what's that doing to your sexuality and your reasoning through all?
Well, okay, wait. This is so dumb because like it's not just about like if they're attracted to men or women. It's about the characteristics that men and women typically embody that solicit that kind of sexual arousal. I don't know.
All this as a young man. It's to confuse and destroy male sexuality and female sexuality.
Destroy sexuality because a trans person was on the cover of a swimsuit, Sports Illustrated magazine.
I think that's what the big picture is here. And also, I thought, how
also they keep like placating to this conspiracy that it is an attempt to confuse young men and like and all that shit without any evidence, without any inkling of a like it's just conjecture. There's no proof that there is no proof that the marketing team behind this thought we want to confuse young men. Like there's nothing, they can't refer to anything other than their own conspiracies.
Embarrassing for those other 3 women that a dude just got shuffled on in the lineup. Like you're just right on next to a dude. Like,
yeah, I had to make it.
You have to jump through more logical hoops to substantiate the fact that that Kim Petras is a man than if they were just saying that she's a woman. Like, that's more confusing, honestly. If you look at that picture and you tell a young boy or whatever, like a teenage boy or whatever, hey, you know what you just masturbated to? It was a man. That was a man you masturbated. Like, they're gonna look at you like, what the fuck are you talking about?
At the year that there's men in it. I mean, like, is that how the standards, how low they've fallen? I'm in the one where there's a dude in a bathing suit right next to me. And they did it last year too. They did it in 2021. Britt, you said something online that I saw, and it was such a good point. It was something to the effect of, this is intentional. They are actually trying to merge the genders.
I have very little patience for like conspiracy dipshits because they operate on like a lower level of IQ than I can imagine. There's because like they don't use any evidence. There is nothing here. They're doing this on purpose to brainwash our children. Like they don't have any evidence though. It's just conjecture. They're like, oh yeah, they're trying to confuse our young boys. But like, there's nothing. It's just, I'm sorry I keep belaboring the point, but it's like, it's so frustrating having to listen to this. Like, because it's one thing if you say dumb shit and you have like some weak ass anecdotal whatever, and that's annoying in its own right. But to literally make shit up and like the marketing company planned that, like you're just making shit up. God.
They're trying to erase the 2-gender narrative, and getting you confused is part of the plan.
Yes. Because if you can do that, you can destroy the family unit. It's what Hugh Hefner.
Oh my god, yeah. So this is a good segue into their other dialogue trees because they're all NPC like talking point, like they're all NPCs here because everything has to revert back to their fucking dumbass. Everything reverts back to a dialogue tree. Everything reverts back to a talking point. With this, they're like, oh, they're trying to destroy the family unit. And all the while, by the way, the way in which they're deriving that conclusion based on literally hearsay or their own conspiracy because they keep referring back to this whole idea of like the fact that a trans person who passes very well, by the way, on a magazine cover is going to confuse young boys who, by the way, will be using and searching for porn online anyway, who don't masturbate really that much. I wouldn't imagine really masturbating to magazine cover models. They're going to confuse them and their sexuality in its attempt to break up the family unit. Like, think about how many hoops we're running through here. Okay, we're running through we're doing a fucking triathlon. Like, it's insane.
Hefner did back when he was doing his thing in the 60s. Well, he talked about how what he offered through the Playboy philosophy was a way for men to not feel bad if they hadn't taken a wife by age 20.
What is she talking about? Is she making this up? Like the philosophy, she's making it up? I can't. I don't even know I don't even know how you can derive such a conclusion.
To Playboy America, you had young men seeking the virtue of husbandry, and they took wives and they had children and they were fathers and they were husbands. And that was, you've hit the gold standard in America. Playboy comes in and says, I'm going to offer you something different. I'm going to offer you something where you can be a bachelor forever. And it's that same philosophy that was driven in then as an attempt to sabotage the family unit, the family structure, and truly the foundation of America.
is she just making this up? Like, genuinely, like, this, I guess, is, I don't know. This seems like it's just made up, like the other things that they've said up to this point.
America, we're seeing replayed now. That's what this confusion leads.
Also, the whole idea of, like, breaking up the family unit, like, I think that there's a lot of values to growing up in a household where your parents don't separate. This is objectively the case. Like, you live a better, on average, not always, children grow up and become more healthy mentally when their parents are together. I'm not going to dispute that, but like but when they refer to, like, when they talk about the family unit and the nuclear family and all that, it's not just we want parents to stay together. It's the parents have to be a man and a woman. They have to conform to gender stereotypes. They have to. Women need to be homemaker. It's a whole plethora of other shit, not just like parents are staying together.
Leads to. It confuses young boys. It confuses young men on who they are.
What is so confusing? What are they talking about? What is confusing about that? I look at this image and I think, damn, dude, holy shit, this is a man? Like, what is confusing about this? They just keep saying shit.
It confuses young boys. It confuses young men on who they are, their sexuality, what they're supposed to be, and it ultimately
what they're supposed. You know what? That's a tell right there. She's like self-reported there. What they're supposed to be is heterosexual and cisgender. You're not supposed to question that or buck from that orthodoxy, because if you do, you're going to break up the family unit. That's the concern that these women share.
Destroys and appends the family unit, and that destroys the fabric of America, which is completely...
Destroys the fabric of America because you're transgender. Oh my god. Why is everything such a fucking hyperbole?
Marxist in the ultimate game here.
Junk.
Marxism is when, wait, I don't even know how did she shoehorn Marxism into this? What?
Their sexuality.
I gotta hear the whole thing here.
And they took wives and they had children and they were fathers and they were husbands. And that was, you've hit the gold standard in America. Playboy comes in and says, I'm going to offer you something different. I'm going to offer you something where you can be a bachelor forever. And it's that same philosophy that was driven in then as an attempt to sabotage the family unit, the family structure, and truly the foundation of America. We're seeing replayed now. That's what this confusion leads to. It confuses young boys. It confuses young men on who they are, their sexuality, what they're supposed to be, and it ultimately destroys and appends the family unit, and that destroys the fabric of America, which is completely Marxist in...
The fabric of America is Marxism, apparently, at this point in time. Okay, nice. Anything else?
In the ultimate game here.
Junk science.
Whoa.
That's what the doctor called many of those fruit and vegetable supplements on the market. Junk science because they use...
Oh, okay. Is that it? Alright, damn, dude. Shit. Okay. Well, whew, that was worse than I thought. That's just like... That's wild. What do the people think? As long as there's women like these three, I'll never be confused about sex. Oh my fucking god. I, honest to God, I'm not even kidding when I say this. I think, like, if it weren't for transphobes pointing it out, not a single person would have been able to clock Kim Petras on that magazine cover. Not a single one. No shot, dude. No way. Great way to confuse guys who unknowingly look at this and get turned on. Disgusting. They got it. This is a okay comment. They only did this because they realized they'll become irrelevant. These covers generate, but yeah, I mean, like, obviously using a trans woman on your swimsuit cover will generate a lot of like discourse, right? And that can play out positively for you if you're a company or whatever, because like people are talking about your, whatever. All right. This is wild, dude. Anyway, yeah, we got that taken care of, I guess. Oh, boy. I was definitely not expecting it to be that bad, but here we are. Alright. Yeah, we have another interview to watch. Hold on. Where's the full interview? Oh, okay, we're gonna have to watch this too.
What if you could do SEO smarter?
No. Shut up. Okay, hold on. I guess we're gonna have to go down. Sorry. Hold on. Oh man, I look so attractive, it's insane. Hold on. Pause. We're gonna have to do a bunch of clips, which is like, whatever, right? Why can't they just have the full interview? Is beyond my comprehension. Whoa! Dude, this camera is actually like insanely bad. Like, do you guys hear this shit? Okay, yeah, I definitely need a new camera, that's for sure. No, shut up. I think we got it all. Okay. We are going to watch a bunch of clips, okay, of Elon Musk on an interview with CNNBC. I'm interested because I heard that it was pretty wild, pretty crazy. All right, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. We'll find out. Let's go.
Being told we have to wrap up.
Actually, oh wow, we're going in opposite order. I guess we'll start here. Hold on one second. Wait, hold on. Let me just make sure the audio is good. And my camera. All right.
Let's talk a bit about your tweets.
Yeah, that seems like it's good. Okay, let's go.
Because it comes up a lot. Even today, it came up in anticipation of this. I mean,
wait. By the way, I just like to point out this. Look at this. I don't think 2020 was a stolen. Can you imagine like this being like an actual take? Like the fact that this is like a take that you can have and you can be like I don't know. It's like, yeah, no fucking shit. Like I don't know. It's like it's kind of just demonstrates how fucking. It demonstrates how much of a fallen state we're in. Okay, that's my takeaway from this. The fact that this is a take that like, like wow, congratulations, yeah.
Even today, it came up in anticipation of this. I mean, you do some tweets that seem to be, or at least give support to some who would call others conspiracy theories.
Well, yes, but I mean, honestly, some of these conspiracy theories have turned out to be true.
Well, like what? Hold on. Conspiracy. Wait, that's the definite rate, really? Just give me the definition for fuck's sake. A theory that explains an event or set of circumstances as a result of a plot by usually powerful conspirators. Well, okay, so here's my take. Ready? Conspiracies and conspiracy theories are really bad because like it operates and functions off of incomplete information or biased information. So it exploits cognitive biases within our brain, which leads us to using bad logic to arrive at conclusions or, fair and reasonable assessments of a situation. That is the main criticism I have against conspiracy theories. The fact that things may turn out to be true at a later date based upon conspiracy theories or conspiratorial thinking doesn't mean that you were right, like, in the beginning, right? Like it doesn't excuse the bad logic that took place leading up to the revelation that your conspiracy theory was true. You can still be a dumb fuck. I guess a broken clock strikes twice a day.
Which ones?
Well, like the Hunter Biden laptop.
That's true.
I don't think that was ever a conspiracy.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yo, like what is it, dude? He's like acting like this guy personally didn't believe that.
That was a pretty big deal. There was Twitter and others engaged in active suppression of information that was relevant,
which is only been worse under Musk, by the way, and also a lot of the information that was released by Matt Taibbi was either flat out incorrect or exaggerated to the point where it misrepresented things.
Relevant to the public. That's a terrible thing that happened. That's like
also why are those like the first conspiracies he thinks of, like,
But how do you make a choice? You don't see. I mean, in terms of when you're going to engage. I mean, for example, even today, Elon, you tweeted this thing about George Soros. Well, I'm looking for it because I want to make sure I quote it properly. But I mean, you know what you wrote. But you basically.
I said it reminds me of Magneto. This is like, calm down, people. This is not like made a federal case out of it.
You also you said he wants to erode the very fabric of civilization, and Soros hates humanity. Like,
yeah, saying something like that is like very similar to what you would see on like 4chan or something. Because it's just like super similar. Like the fact that this Jew is eroding our civilization and dragging humanity with it. Like, it's pretty sussy language.
When you do something like that, do you
Yeah, I think that's true. That's my opinion.
Okay, but why share?
Yeah, but you're... Oh, wait, hold on.
Share it. Why do something like that? Do you
Yeah, I think that's true. That's my opinion.
Okay, but why share it? Why share it? Especially because, why share it when people who...
What do you mean, why share it? If he has every right to be a dumb fuck if he wants to.
Buy Teslas may not agree with you. Advertisers on Twitter may not agree with you.
Okay, so I see the angle he's approaching here. So basically, he's saying, like, why are you going to say dumb shit when it could affect your bottom line? Which is a good point. Yeah.
Why not just say, hey, I think this. You can tell me. We can talk about it over there. You can tell your friends. But why share it widely?
I mean, this is freedom of speech. I'm allowed to say what I want.
You absolutely are. But I'm trying to understand why you do, because you have to know it's got a... It puts you in the middle of the partisan divide in the country. It makes you a lightning rod for criticism. I mean, do you like that? People today saying he's an anti-Semite. I don't think you are.
No, I'm definitely. I'm like a pro-Semite, if anything.
I believe that probably is the case.
Yes.
But why would you even introduce the idea then that would be the case?
I mean, look, we don't want to make this a George Soros interview.
No, God, no. I don't want to at all. But what I'm trying, even came up though in the annual meeting. I mean, do your tweets hurt the company? Are there Tesla owners who say, I don't agree with his political position and I know it because he shares so much of it? Or are there advertisers on Twitter that...
I think it's a little silly if you're a shareholder to withhold investing in a company if the political beliefs of that person run contrary to your own. I think that's a little silly because, like, that shouldn't really be a major factor in whether or not a company is going to be, if you're going to make money off of your shares and whatever. I don't know. I guess it can indicate to maybe some extent, like, the kind of behavior you may engage in, which could turn off potential advertisers, which would otherwise generate revenue for your company. But, like, I don't know. I don't think it's super relevant.
That Linda Yaccarino will come and say, you got to stop, man. Or, I can't get these ads because of some of the things you tweet.
Is he okay? Like, genuine, I'm asking, like, is he okay?
I'm reminded of the scene in The Princess Bride. Great movie.
Great movie.
Where he confronts the person who killed his father. And he says, offer me money.
What is happening?
Offer me power. I don't care.
Does he think he's like, what's happening, guys? I'm a little scared now.
So you just don't care. You want to share what you have to say.
I'll say what I want to say, and if the consequence of that is losing money, so be it.
Dude, what the fuck,
Okay.
man?
But I mean, when you link to somebody who's talking about the guy who killed children in a mall in Allen, Texas, and you say something like it might be a bad psyop. I'm not quite.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a whole other can of worms. We kind of looked into it on the last stream, I think. Basically, Elon Musk is under the impression that it was a psyop. The Texas shooter or whatever, and like, yeah.
Quite sure what you meant, but.
Oh, in that particular case, there was somehow that's not that the obviously people were killed, but it was, I think, incorrectly ascribed to be a white supremacist action, and the evidence for that.
Wait, hold on. Didn't the guy have like Nazi tattoos or something? I thought I remember seeing that.
Was some obscure Russian website that no one's ever heard of, that had no followers.
Wait, wasn't he on Telegram? Well, I don't feel like looking at shit.
And the company that found this is Bellingcat.
Right.
And do you know what Bellingcat does? PsyOps.
Right. I couldn't really even follow exactly what it was you were trying to express there, so that's in part why I was curious.
I'm saying that I thought the ascribing it to white supremacy was bullshit.
Okay.
And that the information for that came from an obscure Russian website and was somehow magically found by Bellingcat, which is a company that does PsyOps.
Okay. The reputation of Bellingcat amongst conservatives as well as tankies is pretty negative. So they usually attribute malintent behind anything Bellingcat does or finds or what have you. Because it's usually, isn't it funded through the United States government too? I don't exactly know. I'm pretty sure that's the case. But the only thing that's a little weird to me about the whole thing is the fact that, like, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it's a reasonable assumption to make that the person was far right based on tattoos they had and based on the rhetoric they used online. I don't know. I don't know about like the whole white supremacy. Like maybe that's true too. I don't whatever. But like it's more to me, it's the bigger like tell that they were right wing was like the tattoos. That's my opinion. But like attributing this to being a psyop, like you can have genuine questions behind something and not be a conspiracy theorist. I think that's totally fine. But immediately jumping to the fact that this is definitely a psyop it seems that the linchpin here for Elon is the fact that it was discovered by Bellingcat, and that's the reason why it's a psyop. It seems like that's not enough to like declare it to be a psyop.
And there's no proof, by the way, that he was not.
There's no. I would say that there's no proof that he is.
And that's a debate you want to get into on Twitter?
Yes. Because we should not be ascribing things to white supremacy if it's false.
Interesting. Okay. Moving on.
Because it comes up a lot. Even today, it came up in anticipation of this. I mean, you do some tweets that seem to be, or at least give support to some who would call others conspiracy theories.
Well,
Wait, didn't we just watch this one?
Which ones?
Oh yeah, we did. Okay.
Advancing humanity. I'm curious then about AI, which many people say will lead to great productivity gains. You showed those robots. I mean, I can imagine what they conceivably could do when powered by AI. But I'm also curious, because you've certainly been concerned, what percentage do you give the chance that it will destroy humanity?
I feel like that's pretty dumb. Like people who, I'm sorry, but like I don't think that AI, the only way in which AI I feel could potentially destroy humanity or the world is if it's installed in some kind of like nuclear like arsenal or whatever, and like some malfunction leads to it launching all the nukes in the world, and like that's like the only real way I feel as though it could actually destroy the planet. But like if we're like talking like robots or something, I don't know, it's probably not likely.
Well, the advent of artificial general intelligence is called a singularity because it is so hard to predict what will happen after that. I think it's very much a double-edged sword. I think there's a strong probability that it will make life much better, and that we'll have an age of abundance, and there's some chance that it goes wrong, and destroys humanity. Hopefully that chance is small, but it's not zero. And so I think we want to take whatever actions we can think of to minimize the probability that AI goes wrong.
And you've called for a pause, along with a number of other people.
Yes, look, when I called for the, a friend of mine, Max Tegmark, is a physicist at MIT, wanted me to sign on to the letter. And it's like I knew it would be futile.
It is futile.
It's futile. I knew it would be futile. I just wanted to call it like, it's one of those things, well, for the record, I recommended that we pause.
Okay.
Did I think there would be a pause? Absolutely not. So,
but you're starting XAI, I think that's what you're calling it, or some new AI effort. Well, how's it going to be different than OpenAI or Alphabet?
This is not the time to this. It's not. We don't have enough time, and nor is this the moment to really talk about it.
Okay.
We will have a launch event, and we'll explore the issues in more detail. But I should say that and I mentioned this at the shareholder meeting, that Tesla has actually tremendous capability in real-world AI.
Yes.
In fact, it is very far ahead of anyone.
I know people actually on Twitter prior to our interview were saying, he never gets asked about how advanced his AI is at Tesla. You always talk about the other names.
Tesla AI is, like I said, it's like, I'm not even sure who's second, frankly.
Why is that? What are people not understanding about what you have, and why are we talking so much about ChatGPT and generative AI at OpenAI and what Microsoft's going to be able to do with it, and not about Tesla?
I don't know. I mean, people do talk about it online. I think Tesla will have sort of a ChatGPT moment. Maybe if not this year, I'd say no later than next year.
Wait, say that again. I'm sorry. You're going to have a
sort of ChatGPT moment.
Oh, you will. In terms of suddenly it will.
Yeah, suddenly 3 million cars will be able to drive themselves with no one.
Right. It goes back to that. Right.
Yeah, and then 5 million cars, and then 10 million cars.
Hey.
Yeah, I don't know if self-driving cars are. I don't know if it should be the future. I think that mass transport should be a little more prioritized. You could probably have like self-driving trains, and like after, because I mean, I don't know. I'm not a conductor. I don't know if it's like a complicated job or not. But I think that that could be effectively automated, maybe. And I just think that I think we should prioritize in the long term mass transport because there's going to be more people around, and I think having a bunch of cars is going to just take up too much real estate. So I don't know. Prioritizing like mass transit is probably better. I think. Why is
in
it
the U.S.
muted?
Are you concerned at all about the growing belligerence between China and the U.S.?
I think that should be a concern for everyone.
I think you're right. I think it is shared by many people who run large organizations and smaller ones. Do you think, for example, China will make a move to take control of Taiwan?
The official policy of China is that
One China policy.
Taiwan should be integrated. One does not need to read between the lines. One can simply read the lines.
Do you think that,
So I think there's some inevitability to this situation.
that would not be good for...
He's a little oversimplifying. So there's a reason why China hasn't invaded Taiwan yet. I think, the situation is definitely complicated, like the history at least. But my understanding of it is that Taiwan, oh boy, did we go over this on stream a while ago? I don't remember. But if my memory serves me correct, like a big reason why China, or one of the reasons why China would like to gain more control over Taiwan, is to secure trade routes in the South China Sea. There's obviously a big advantage as well to the manufacturing plants that already exist on Taiwan with respect to the semiconductor production and probably some other natural resources they can exploit as well. And there's obviously also like a history between the two regions, right? I think there was a splitting between the two in the 1980s. There's like a democratic revolution. Oh man, I really don't want to speak out of my ass, so I won't go too further. But I think that there's definitely a reason why China hasn't invaded Taiwan right now. Okay, doesn't the United States like send a bunch of like military funding to Taiwan? Like they sell them a bunch of arms and shit. And there's obviously like if China were to invade Taiwan, then the United States may place sanctions or higher tariffs or what have you, which would be damaging, as well as the optics with China invading Taiwan, just because the entire like region of Europe would probably take issue with that and place their own kind of economic consequences. So like there's definitely reasons that are like disincentives that are functioning to prevent China from like invading Taiwan. So yeah, that's a big part there.
Tesla, conceivably, or for any company in the world, frankly.
Yes, for any company in the world. I think almost no one realizes that the Chinese economy and the rest of the global economy are like conjoined twins. It would be like trying to separate conjoined twins. That's the severity of the situation, and it's actually worse for a lot of other companies than it is for Tesla. I mean, I'm not sure where you're going to get an iPhone, for example. Apple's recently started doing some sort of small amount of production in India, but it's tiny compared to...
It's tiny, not to mention an advanced semiconductor chip if they take over Taiwan Semi.
Correct.
I mean, you design your own chips, but you manufacture them at Taiwan Semi too, right?
We do some. We use Samsung and TSMC.
Right.
But
you seem to think it's likely to happen.
I'm simply saying that is their policy, and I think you should take their word seriously. They mean it.
Yeah, I mean, like, eventually... Well, I don't know. Like, it's a little more complicated than that. I don't think... Yeah. Well, China has the One China policy, which states that Taiwan is already part of China. So, I don't know. They wouldn't even see it as an invasion. They would just see it as reclaiming, territory.
affordability. It's something you discussed during your meeting. You've also discussed it a bit on the call, on the earnings call recently as well, in relation to the Federal Reserve raising interest rates and obviously the monthly cost for a typical auto buyer. You think it's going to be a tough 12 months ahead. You've said that a few times.
Yes, for everyone, not just
I don't know. I don't really care about the
Tesla on credit. So, and my concern with the
yeah, I don't really care about that. Let's go with this.
It's a ways. We're coming up on an election. I mean, it's a ways away, but it's going to all start. President Trump is allowed back on the platform. He hasn't actually come back.
Right.
But one would imagine if and when he does, or there are others who will say 2020 election was rigged. Is that something? I assume that's not something you believe.
Well, I think the answer is nuanced. Like, do I believe Biden won? Yes, I believe he won.
And you voted for him.
I did, actually.
Do you regret that?
I mean, man,
So yes, he knows that his base is like conservative, so he has to like put up this face, you know, that he like regretted it. Give me 1 second, please. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. All right, let's do it.
I wish we could have just a normal human being as president. That's what I want. I think if we could, you know, there's that old saying of like, we're better off being run by people picked at random from the phone book than the faculty of Harvard.
Yeah.
I don't know who said that, but it was someone very wise. And I would say if we could do that for the president, that would be great.
You think that would be beneficial? So you're not, obviously you're not happy with Biden.
Don't we all just want a normal human being to be
whatever
the president?
That means, whatever,
you know,
I'm not even sure anymore what normal means.
No, but I mean, like, you know, just, I don't know, just a...
You want somebody who's competent.
Yeah,
that's helpful.
Yes, I think definitely somebody's executive ability is underrated. Since the president is effectively the chief executive officer of the country, it actually matters if they are a good executive officer.
Yeah.
It's not simply a matter of do they share your beliefs, and you know, but are they good at getting things done? There's a lot of decisions that need to be made every day. Many of them are unrelated to moral beliefs. You know.
Right.
And you just want a good executive. Because they're CEO of America.
They are. They are.
Yeah, I mean, the framing that he's a CEO of America, like, it's not really surprising coming from a CEO, right? Seeing the country as just like another business, and you know.
We want a good CEO of America who's going to do
a little more
effective.
Nuance of that.
Unfortunately, we live in highly partisan times where there is war about everything, including ideas, including the truth, which gets back to it's not true that the election in 2020 was rigged. It wasn't stolen. And I wonder on the platform, when you see that, does that end up in a community note, or is that something you take more action on? And obviously, that applies to so many.
I mean, to be clear, I don't think it was a stolen election. But by the same token, if somebody's going to say that there's never any election fraud anywhere, this is obviously also false.
Nobody's saying that. What are they talking about? Who said that? Voter fraud is very, very, very uncommon. That's not the same thing as saying it never, ever, 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 ever happened. Like, those are two different statements.
Yep.
If 100 million people vote, the probability that the fraud is zero is zero. There's going to
Of course, there's always going to be some.
A
but is it
little.
gonna, right. I mean, the
The
tiniest
question
bit,
is-
perhaps. I mean, this election was audited. It was so many judges. I mean, it went on and on and on, and there was nothing whatsoever. I don't want to debate this with you. My question is more about.
I think it's important to say, like, that in any given election, even if you try your hardest, if you've got 100 million votes, there's going to be some amount of fraud that is not zero. And that
So?
it's important to acknowledge that without saying that the fraud was of sufficient magnitude to change the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
So my opinion would be that there was some small amount of fraud, but it was not enough to change the
Right.
outcome.
And by the way,
Well, that's the... Yeah? Okay, so we're in agreement. Got it.
might have been either way. I mean,
Yeah, this is probably a little bit of
But
each way.
again, it's going to be. You're going to let people say that though on Twitter, and then you're going to hope that they're corrected.
They will be corrected.
They will be.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
All right, well, I guess that's as good of an answer as I can expect.
Your board has been very
Sure.
patient. I want to end on one AI question. You have a lot of kids. I have some kids. I have one who's actually soon to go into the workforce. I struggle with how to advise him about a career when this technology exists and will only improve. I'm just curious, when you think about advising your children on a career with so much that is changing, what do you tell them is going to be of value?
He hasn't done this with his kids.
Well, that is a tough question to answer. I guess I would just say, to sort of follow their heart in terms of what they find interesting to do or fulfilling to do, and try to be as useful as possible to the rest of society. If we do get to the sort of like magic genie situation where you can ask the AI for anything, and let's say it's even the benign scenario. Let's say it's a benign scenario. How do we actually find fulfillment? It's how do we find meaning in life if the AI could do your job better than you can?
Wait, that's really telling. Meaning in life isn't necessarily derived from what you do in life, or what you do for a living. It can be, but it's not the only thing that somebody could, derive meaning from. There's a lot of things outside of your own work that you do that can absolutely be just as fulfilling, if not more so. It's not just like what you do to earn money.
I mean, if I think about it too hard, frankly, it can be dispiriting and demotivating. Because, I mean, I go through, I've put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into building the companies, and then I'm like, wait, well, should I be doing this? Because if I'm sacrificing time with friends and family that I would prefer to but then ultimately the AI can do all these things, does that make sense? I don't know. To some extent, I have to have deliberate suspension of disbelief in order to remain motivated. So I guess I would say just, work on things that you find interesting, fulfilling, and that contribute some good to the rest of society.
Got it. All right. Well, there was he also talked about working from home, which I take major issue with, and I hope that they play that clip here. They do. Okay, good. Yeah, we'll just take a quick look here. I am just like, oh god, working from home is so fucking awesome. Oh. There's obviously drawbacks to it, and it's not for everybody. I will absolutely acknowledge that. But for me, I really like it. So, anyway, we'll with that bias out of the way, let's go.
Let them eat cake. Well, Elon Musk is letting loose on people who work from home, saying that they're like Marie Antoinette and that it is morally wrong to not work in an office.
I kind of think that the whole notion of work from home is a bit like the fake Marie Antoinette quote, "Let them eat cake." Mm-hmm. It's like really, you're going to work from home and you're going to make everyone else who made your car come work in the factory. You're going to make the people who make your food that gets delivered that they can't work from home. The people.
This is so fucking stupid because he acts like people who. So first off, he's drawing upon the example that people who like DoorDash, for example, will deliver food. When they deliver food, it's mostly to people who are working remotely. When that's probably not true. I feel like I don't really know, but like there's definitely a good portion of people who like DoorDash and do Uber Eats and shit like that who deliver food, but it's not just to people who are working remotely. It's also to people who are working in offices. They get food delivered to them so they don't leave their office, right? It's just like it's such a dumb argument.
People that come fix your house, they can't work from home, but you can?
Well, that's kind of how it depends on the nature of your business or the nature of your job. If you work on a computer all day, then it doesn't seem unreasonable that you could do it from home instead of going physically to an office. Like, there are certain jobs and occupations that require you to travel, like doing roofing, for example. You have to go from place to place because that's the nature of your job. So it's just weird that he thinks that there is a trade-off between people who work from, like, if you work from home, then you are forcing others to not work from home by going, like, it's just like, yeah, there's no trade-off there.
Does that seem morally right?
I don't know what he means by morally right either. It just seems morally neutral to me. There are people who, again, by the nature of their job, can work from home. And there are others, by the nature of their job, who can't. And that's just the way that works. It's like he's jealous or something. I don't know.
That's messed up.
You see it as a moral issue?
Yes.
I mean, I see it more as
And
just
it's a productivity issue, but it's
Yeah.
also a moral issue.
How? What is it? So the argument, it seems to me, is that it is immoral to work from home because you are forcing other people to not work from home. Like, there's nothing about working from home that forces other people. Like, there's no pressure there. I just don't, yeah. At least it's not being demonstrated here in this clip or through his words how working from home forces others not to work from home. Yeah.
You get off the goddamn moral high horse with the work from home bullshit. Because they're asking everyone else to not work from home while they do.
That's really bizarre to me. Working from home is pretty good. It's not for everybody, obviously, but I think that there's a lot of benefits to working from home. I think that working from the comfort of your home can be really good. I think you could be more productive in an environment where you're more relaxed. Not too relaxed, but more relaxed. And I think there's also benefits economically to not having to spend time in traffic or spending gas money or spending money on a pet sitter if you happen to own animals, or even a babysitter, or childcare, whatever. You can save money in many different ways by working from home. There's obviously drawbacks, of course, and the main one obviously being that you're not physically in front of people, so you don't have that human-to-human contact, connection, whatever. But, like, you could still, like, hang out with people, like, outside of work. It's, I don't know. But, like, yeah, characterizing it as, like, a moral issue, I don't get it. It's just weird. And also, like, that, like, you're forcing others not to. It just doesn't make sense. What's the trade-off? How is there a trade-off there?
And yet
It's wrong.
So now I can't wait to hear Kevin O'Leary's take on this. Kevin O'Leary is one of the sharks on Shark Tank. We've covered him in the past. He's terrible.
Great interview with my friend David Faber. So out front now, Kevin O'Leary, the chairman of O'Leary Ventures and one of the sharks on the hit television show Shark Tank, favorite in my home. Okay,
Oh boy,
so
here we go.
let's just start here with this moral high horse business. Is working from home morally wrong?
Yeah, so I really want to know if there's an argument behind this outside of, well, I think that it's just not fair. It can't just be that. There has to be a moral argument against this, which I don't know if there is. To me, working from home is just morally neutral. That's not immoral or moral. It's just like, it's just a thing.
No, it's not. The world's changed, the economy's changed, the ethics of work have changed. We went through an extraordinary period during the pandemic. The idea that you split up a headquarters and you let people leave a headquarters and work from home was not even contemplated, was considered too risky. Now it's a proven effective method of project management. In Elon's case, to be fair about what he's talking about.
This is very surprising to hear, but I guess he's not as dumb as Elon to, like, go the hardline stance against working from home. So, yeah, okay.
When you are in a highly engineered business like Tesla or SpaceX, I get the idea that you'd want collaboration between engineers that are sitting around trying to solve design problems or whatever. But it has nothing to do with the other 10 sectors of the economy, which have already made a decision. I have 54 companies in almost every state, in almost every sector. We now know what the percentage is. It's just under 40%, are never coming back to the office.
So we're not even talking about 2, 3, whatever. This is just like they aren't coming back in.
Primarily in accounting, logistics, and compliance departments in various businesses where they used to work in cubicles.
Right.
And they had to drive an hour to the office. They found a different lifestyle and they still get their work done. Now, I can make them work in the office and they'll simply say, thank you, but I'm going to work for somebody else, your competitor.
Right.
So we choose not to do that.
Right. And it's also.
Damn, he's spitting. He's spitting over here. Jesus Christ. I did not expect that. All right, good. Base.
So the models themselves. So the New York Times, there's this great analysis the other day. Enough empty office space in New York City to fill 26 and a half Empire State Buildings. I mean, holy camoli. Okay.
New York City.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues around that.
Right.
But I would just say, then you've got Disney saying, okay, get back in 4 days a week. Now, I will note, get back in 4 days a week is essentially giving up on a day, which is still a huge shift in and of itself, right? 20% shift. So is it really here to stay for the majority of workers? I mean, is this what you're going to see, empty buildings?
Yeah, it's here to stay. The economy has changed, not only domestically, but globally. The way that work has changed, and if you think investments in financial services companies, Thursday, noon deadline. I don't care when you do it, at 2 a.m, or whether you get up and feed your children before they go to school. I couldn't care less, as long as on the drop-dead date, the work is done. That's project management.
Right.
And so we are, and here's the thing that I
Yeah, I mean, I think we got it. Yep. This is, everything he's saying is, like, pretty much true. Most people don't give a fuck, like, bosses or whatever, like, don't give a fuck as long as, like, you're getting shit done, when it's supposed to be done. And that is done correctly. And it has been shown for the past couple of years since coronavirus affected the world economy that working from home is a viable, like, thing for many companies to use, right? I'm sure that there are some overhead costs that can even be saved as a consequence of workers working from home, because if you're working from home, you can operate with less physical office space, and that's less rent or what have you that would need to be paid and accounted for in your overhead. So I think that there's a lot of benefits associated with working from home and having a labor pool that can function as productively from home. Not to mention, of course, the amount of vehicles on the road and like traffic and all that shit. That's a whole other thing. But yeah, there's just like a lot of benefits. And plus, many people really enjoy working from home. Not everyone, don't get me wrong. But a lot of them do. And I think that if you say you have to go back in the office after having not been in the office for X amount of months or years, they're going to look at you like, okay, well, you know what? I'll just go to this other company that I'm also qualified for that's your competitor, and I'll just work there. Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's wild. And that was definitely the case for a company I used to work for. We're forcing people to go back to the office. Me, as well as many others that I've heard, left that company for another company, or other companies that were just permanently work from home. It's more convenient. You get as much productivity as you would if they were working in the office. There's just so many benefits to it. Anyway, yeah. Okay, so the Elon interview was not as crazy as I thought. That's okay. Some of the things he said, I think, were pretty stupid. But... Oh boy. Oh shit! This is 8 minutes long. I feel a sneeze coming. Okay. I don't even know how much of this I want to watch, but we'll take a gander. Matt Walsh talks about boycotting Target because they sell chest binders or something.
The Daily Wire reports, quote, Target unveiled a number of clothing items and accessories, including apparel and books meant for babies and young children as part of the retail behemoth's latest Pride collection. In addition to the adult collection, which included a t-shirt emblazoned with the words queer, 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 a short-sleeved bright green boiler suit, and a hoodie which declares not a phase, the company offered several items meant for kids and babies. The store is selling onesies and small shirts with phrases like being proud and just be you and feel the love, as well as rainbow-colored leggings, tutu skirts, and jumpers. Target likewise offers bibs that say, I am proud of you always, rainbow sandals and swimwear, and socks with various LGBTQ-related themes. Shoppers with pets can purchase rainbow backpacks, chew toys, treats, leashes, collars, and cat scratchers. The retailer has garnered controversy for several years with Pride collections meant to commemorate the June LGBTQ festivals. Items sold last year included breast binders, packing underwear, and other offerings meant for self-identified transgender individuals, drawing backlash against the company. Now, she also mentioned that they're along with these products for kids, they're also selling LGBT children's books and all the rest of it. And if you go into a Target right now, you're going to see all that. As soon as you walk in the store, you're going to see all of that front and center, proudly on display.
Maybe in the month of June, but year round, I highly doubt that shit is like way in your face like it is, right? I think that they're probably going to put it in areas that make more logical sense for the other products that are in the store, yeah.
The chest binders and the packing underwear, those are items that are still on offer this year. Here's a video posted by somebody who seems to be trying to defend Target against claims that it's selling these kinds of things for children. So this is someone who's, she's not upset about this, it seems. She's trying to defend Target. And but in the process of trying to defend Target, she actually exposes what Target is doing accidentally. Let's watch.
Exposed.
I'm sorry I chose you again. I just needed to do the bathing suit, the last bit. I found the tuck bathing suits, the tuck friendly bathing suits. So if you need a women's bathing suit and you have a little extra meat down there that you got to hide, you have one option. That is the only bathing suit that I found in the entire store, and it's in the Pride section. It's not in the kids section, women's section, boys section, baby section. It is in the Pride section. It was the only one I could find. And I did have another adult with me checking all the tags so that I didn't have to stay in the store for 9 hours.
Okay, so tuck friendly.
I love how this is like the thing conservatives want to focus on. Of all the issues that are plaguing our society economically, like the debt ceiling, the impeachment articles, that like of all the shit they want to focus on, like
bathing suits, if you have, as she says, a little extra meat down there, but they aren't in the kids section, she hastens to add. They're in the Pride section. They're not in the kids section. It's just the Pride section that they've set up, right?
I don't think she worded it like the tone of her voice didn't suggest to me that she was saying it as though like, like shut up conservatives. It's not like you're indoctrinating your children. I don't know. It didn't seem like she was trying to attack that kind of like rhetoric.
In the front of the store, which may be true, but we can also clearly see that the bathing suits, though not in the kids section, are available in kids sizes. Either those are sizes for kids or for very, very, very small adults, which I guess is the excuse they're going to go with. No, this is not.
I don't know how much you can derive the size of those bathing suits based on that angle that the camera was shot at. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
This is just for extremely undersized adults.
It's probably more so for like teenagers.
I mean, you could buy it for your kid, but that's not what it's meant for. That's obviously what it's meant for. Which means that if you're a parent who wants to dress your son up like a girl and put him in a girl's bathing suit, Target has items especially tailored to those, quote, needs.
So that's their prerogative. That's their child. And if you have a problem with it, then I guess cry. I don't know. Like, it's their child, and it's not like it's if their child wants to dress up as a girl, and the parent's like, okay, well, let's go to Target, and then like they find whatever. Who fucking cares? I mean, yeah, cry about it on your show, fine, but like, that's their child, and if the child wants to dress up as a girl, then so be it. Who cares?
Now, I should go without saying that this is far, far worse than anything Bud Light did. Target is specifically marketing products for children and putting them on display right in the front of their stores for all to see. Target is actively trying to recruit kids into the LGBT camp.
Actively recruit.
And Target feels safe doing this even after the Bud Light fiasco because they assume that they can, for one thing, rely on the ubiquity of their brand to cover them. There are Targets everywhere. Of course, Target isn't just, it's not just one product in a.
I'm pretty sure that like Bud Light and Busch are probably a little more ubiquitous within the American ethos than at Target. I mean, I'm just spitballing here. Maybe they're comparable in size. I don't know for sure. Maybe. But I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, like, Bud Light is pretty popular.
In the refrigerated section of the grocery store, you can walk past and get another product. No, they sell all kinds of items from clothing to groceries and everything in between. Okay. So to cut them out, to boycott Target, would require a level of discipline and sacrifice on the part of consumers. Now, it's only a very small amount of discipline and only the meagerest sacrifice, But still, it's more than what was required to ditch Bud Light. So we could that's the problem Bud Light ran into, is that they discovered that they are incredibly expendable, and we can ditch them, and you could buy different beer, and there's really no sacrifice at all. It requires no extra effort. It's just opening the refrigerator at the gas station, and rather than reaching here, reaching over there for a different beer. That's all. That's the only effort. And lots of people were willing to do that. But for Target, what they're counting on is that it's not quite so easy, because if you have a Target right down the street, and it's got everything that you need, and you're a busy parent or something, if you decide I'm not going to go to Target, that might mean that rather than driving 12 minutes down the street, now you got to drive 17 minutes down the street to go to a different store, and that's at least more of a sacrifice than is required to not drink Bud Light anymore. But still, Target needs our business. It needs the business of the people that it is angering intentionally with its LGBT indoctrination. And now it's essentially calling our bluff. The company is making the assumption that we will be satisfied.
Why is everything like a 4D chess move to them? He's operating off the premise that Target is trying to recruit children into a trans cult or whatever by offering the clothing apparel of that accommodates trans youth. Most of Target is probably not most of Target isn't an LGBTQ plus. It's not like an LGBTQ plus shop or retail store. Most of it is other shit. You know what I mean? It's kind of like Walmart. I mean, probably smaller than most Walmarts, but it's, yeah.
With our victory over Bud Light, and kind of leave it there. We have that one trophy on the wall, and they're assuming, and just like many other corporations, come Pride Month, they're going to assume that we're going to be satisfied with that. It's not an unreasonable assumption. Even with Bud Light, there was a sizable contingent of conservatives who said that we should ignore that issue. They said that they were tired of hearing about it. It's just a culture war distraction, they complained. Let's focus on the economy and taxes instead. If multi-billion-dollar corporations are actively trying to brainwash and recruit our children into the LGBT...
They're literally not, but okay. Yeah, I mean, this is, again, placating just conspiracy brain dipshits who think that every time a corporation has a rainbow in any of their advertisements, they think that, oh my god, they're recruiting our children. Blah, blah, blah. And by the way, most corporations who adopt that kind of marketing are doing it just to make money. They don't give a fuck about whether you're they just want to make fucking money. They're a company. They're a corporation. There's not some secret cabal trying to groom your children because fucking there's in a pride section and Target.
LGBT cult.
Not everything has to be a conspiracy theory.
Why should that matter? What difference does the culture make anyway? The answer is that it makes all the difference. As I've tried to...
I really hope that conservatives keep doubling down on the culture war, because it just even among conservative base, they're getting sick of it, right? I'm pretty sure I saw a poll recently that was looking at how much do you give a fuck about the culture war or culture issues, and most people are they don't give that much of a shit, because at the end of the day it's more about if you have food on the table. Yeah.
Explained recently on the show and many other times, the culture is the stuff that our country is made of. It's what we are all living in. It's what our children are inheriting from us.
You can't live in a society if you don't have fucking money. And I don't think that I mean, again, I hope that conservatives keep hammering down on this, because it's going to backfire on them for sure. Most people give more of a fuck if they have money to spend on groceries, if they have money to spend on blah, blah, blah. A better angle from a conservative would be to hamper on, and keep whining about inflation or something, you know? Because at the very least, you can placate to everybody instead of, the really deep red, brainwashed people.
And now they are inheriting a society where major corporations celebrate LGBT pride by selling chest binders and tucking bathing suits.
Yeah. This is not a high priority. I don't know about you guys, but why should I give a fuck if Target's selling this shit? I don't care. I don't care. Because I care about making enough money to make ends meet. That's the only thing I give a fuck about in terms of broader policy. It's not the only thing, but it's the biggest, overwhelming thing I care about. And I think a lot of Americans who aren't deep in the fucking swamp that these guys fester in would agree with me here. Obviously culture's important, but it's not the biggest deal in the world they make it out to be. It's all they talk about. Conservatives every fucking day they talk about culture shit. They talk about trans people, they talk about immigration. Like, they just talk about the same fucking shit every day. It's always like trans people or gay people or something like that. Like, it's just, oh god. Again, I hope they keep hammering down on this because it's just, oh man, it's a liability if like you put all your eggs in one basket.
We do have the power to put a stop to it. It only takes a little bit of discipline and the tiniest amount of sacrifice. Corporations.
Didn't he just admit that it's more of a sacrifice for people who, like, because Target, he was right about that when he said, like, boycotting Target is going to be harder for people than boycotting Bud Light, because Bud Light is like one of those things where it's like a single product, and Target is like a whole store of products. So he was right in that respect, but like it seems like he's also kind of contradicting himself by also saying like it's only a tiny sacrifice, no big deal.
Corporations who cross the line to this egregious extent should be made to pay for it, and that is
for having a pride section.
A penalty that we can extract, because there are millions and millions and millions of Americans in this country who are disgusted by this.
No, there's. Oh my god. Again, I hope they keep hammering this, because, like... Oh shit, dude. Whew. Don't most Americans support, like, trans people or their existence or something? Pulling on trans people, I don't know. Let's just get a general sense. Let's get a pulse on the American attitude against trans people. 64. When was this? 2022. So about a year ago, during Pride Month. 64% strongly favor or in favor protecting trans people from discrimination. Is there a more recent study, please? This was a little more recent. What's this? The Republican preoccupation with transgender issues, which result in bills, blah, blah, blah. But analysts say all that enthusiasm for restricting the rights of health care for about 0.6% of Americans risk putting off swing voters. If you're talking about suburban parents who are concerned about what's going on in their public schools, this is an area where I think Republicans have a big opportunity. The tone of how this is handled is extremely important, because the vast majority of people, regardless of their views on trans issues, don't want to treat people, especially children, cruelly. That's a good point. It's clear. Well, obviously, yeah. This person thinks that it's going to bite Republicans in general elections. At least 10 states have banned gender-affirming, even as multiple studies have found access to gender-affirming care reduce risk. Oh, yeah. Okay. I just care more about, like, the general perception. This is more recent, September. 8% of Americans say they are following news about bills recently proposed by several states related to people who are transgender. Damn! Actually, not gonna lie, that's a little higher than I thought it'd be. NGL, that is a little higher. About 2/3 say they are following news about these bills a little or not at all closely. Okay. That makes sense to me, too. A 64% a majority of Americans favor policies that protect transgender issues or individuals from discrimination in jobs, housing, public spaces, restaurants, blah, blah, blah. 37% strongly favor. Yeah, they just don't have the numbers in terms of popularity about... like, they're putting all their eggs in this basket when most Americans are, like, support trans rights. Transgender athletes is a little more like broke even, I think. Most Americans say they would oppose or strongly oppose. More Americans say they would oppose or strongly oppose than say they would favor or strongly favor requiring health insurance companies to cover medical care for gender transitions, and 28% neither favor nor oppose this. I think that one of the reasons why this might be the case is because of the word requiring. Because they probably perceive this as increasing their premiums, maybe. Which, I don't know if that's true or not. It might be true, but yeah, I don't know. That might be one of the reasons why. Most people default to a libertarian approach with, like, things, or, like, it shouldn't be, like, a requirement or force usually those are words that kind of turn off people who are taking polls, I think. Anyway, I don't know. I think the general attitude against trans people has been like pretty positive in the United States, which is good. But like these guys make it seem like there's an overwhelming majority on their side.
By selling chest binders and tucking bathing suits. We do have the power to put a stop to it. It only takes a little bit of discipline and the tiniest amount of sacrifice. Corporations who cross the line to this egregious extent should be made to pay for it. And that is a penalty that we can extract because there are millions and millions and millions of Americans in this country who are disgusted by this.
How are you gonna, and by the way, how are you gonna like meaningfully make an impact against Target? Good luck, dude. You know what? Good luck. Okay? Target. I mean, Target's a huge company and it's a retail store. It's not like a single product.
Who do not want to, they don't want to have the rainbow stuff vomited all over them the moment that they walk into a store. They especially don't want that to happen when they're bringing their kids with them into the store, as so many parents do.
I mean, people like you who are in echo chambers would probably think that this is a mainstream issue that's like plaguing all American, when it's in fact not.
And if even a sizable minority of those millions said, you know what, I'm not shopping at Target anymore, I'm done with it. That would be a major blow to that company. Because
I think, okay, whatever.
Because they need our business. This is a punishment that we can.
So isn't Target mostly in like cities and suburbs, and those areas are more so blue than they are red? So like, how much of an impact are they really going to make?
Impose. Just have to put in the effort.
Got it. Okay. Well, that's cool, I guess. They're I guess good luck to all the conservatives out there who are outraged over the fact that there's a pride section in Target. I don't know. But are they really just going to like start boycotting literally everything that shows the smallest inkling of support for like progressivism in any way? I don't know, man. It's crazy. All right. Well, I think that's about does it for today. It was a little bit of a short stream, but that's all right. Yeah, we're gonna I'm just gonna get going today. I will see you guys next week. And I hope you have a great rest of your... Actually, not next week, the week after. So, anyway, hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.